Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Oscar Capel. I'm glad to be on this side of the camera today. This is Relationship Week, and people want to know what does a will have to do with relationship? Well, very quickly, a will is your last love letter to your family. And the reason we need wills, it's part of being a grown-up, basically, having everything in place when we pass away or in case we become incapacitated. I'm going to start up let me see where we are here, share my screen. And the first question that comes to mind is, what happens if we die without a will? Where did our stuff go? Even if I can get the screen to work, which I can't. There we go. Okay. So here's a fun fact. Only 44% of Americans have wills. And that's troubling because if you die without a will, it's called being intestate. You allow the state to determine where your things go. So each will is state specific. I'll be getting into that a little bit later. So being state specific, it has to be done in your state and it has to be executed with a law firm from your state. Here's some people that died without a will, starting with Abraham Lincoln all the way down to Michael Jackson. These are people that you think should have this in place, considering their standing in society, but it's something that not everyone has, but I believe everyone needs. This is actually what my will and living will and healthcare power of attorney looks like. So when we speak about wills, we're looking for estate planning, basically. So in estate planning, you want to manage your estate, and it doesn't mean that you live in a giant estate and you have a mansion. It's all your belongings. It's your car, your house, silverware, whatever is valuable. Basically, that you don't want the family to be fighting over after we pass away. So it also minimizes costs, taxes, and hassles for the family when we pass. And again, providing for minor children and their care. And that's important, and we all should take care of that now, especially now during COVID, where our mortality is up in our face more than before. So there are four major documents to our will. The first is the last will and testament, as I spoke about, the living will, the healthcare power of attorney, and the financial power of attorney. The last three, people don't really know what their function is, so we'll go into that really shortly. The will, as we said, is the last will and testament. It distributes the person's property after their death. The living will, that's important because that directs the medical care and things that you can't control if you're incapacitated. People have been on ventilators for 2 or 3 months at a time. They need someone who actually manage that. And the power of attorneys are one for dollars. If you are incapacitated for 3 months, you're in a hospital, you're on a ventilator, someone should be taking care of your bills. The mortgage has to be paid, the rent has to be paid, electricity, water, all those things need to be paid when you're not there. The other one is for the doctors. So it will let the doctors know what your intentions are. If you want to be resuscitated, if you don't want to be resuscitated, what type of extreme measures needs to be taken for you to for your wishes to be carried out. A lot of people say, well, yeah, no problem, I'll just go to one of these companies that'll do this online, and that will solve everything because it's really, really cheap. If you go down to this page's last page, where the big print giveth and the small print taketh away, you'll be able to see that not all wills are created equal. And like I said, they're all state specific. And wills, when they're done online, they are not state specific. So they might not be valid when you actually need it. So getting all that done is a great idea. It's great peace of mind. Like I said, the will is your last love letter to your family, or it could be the middle finger to your family if they're not treating you well. I pulled this off of the internet today. 4 days ago, a man left $5 million to his dog because she's a good girl. So your money just does not just have to go to your family. It can go to charities and go to your church. It can go to museums, whatever you really find valuable in life. That is where your money and your assets can go to. Biggest question about doing a will is, who do I go to? How much is it going to cost? Where do I start? What's a procedure? All these questions. I think this is the number one reason why people don't get their will done. They just procrastinate because there's no starting point. There's no one to turn to. Here's the biggest problem about getting a will done. It's been expensive. The legal profession is unresponsive. It's unaccountable. So even if you want your will done, again, you don't know who you go to, how much it's going to cost. All of these things are what keep people from getting their will done. So here's the good news. I am not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV, but I am an associate with Legal Shield. And Legal Shield, since 1972, has been providing legal service to the 95% of us that are not in that top 5% that can afford $400 or $500 an hour lawyers. Legal Shield, like I said, has been around since 1972, and they are the company that they wrote the book on how to do this because they contract one law firm per state. So when your will is done, it's done in that state, and that is the only company that is doing it. And so far, the only company that can do it because of the many years that they've been doing this with practice. So how do they do it and what makes it different? We are disruptive innovation. Disruptive innovation makes things simpler, easier, more affordable. We have an app that allows you to contact your law firm 24 hours a day, as you see in that little red emergency legal access button. So we have 24-hour access to our law firm. The best way to describe disruptive marketing would be Netflix versus Blockbuster, where accessing a lawyer before was like going to Blockbuster and buying one movie at a time. And then when the movie is done, you're done. When you want another movie, you pay for the next movie. Netflix says, hey, give us one monthly fee, pretty low, and access all the movies you want anytime you want. And that's what we're able to do with this technology. So how do we get our will done? First, we download the app. We have it on our phone. There's a button there that says easy to complete will and other questionnaires. I can also, text me or email me. My number is 646-578-7097. My email is info, I-N-F-O, @oscarcapel.com. I will send you a Legal Shield will questionnaire, which you can actually print out and use it as a template to get your will done, and you know what everything is. So step one, hit the button, hit estate planning. Step two is fill out the will questionnaire. I believe it's 6 or 7 pages, and submit it to the provider. The provider law firm will get that will done, send it to you, and our law firm in New York, Feldman, Kramer, and Monaco is down in Hauppauge, Long Island. So you don't want to have to travel there to get the will executed. So they will send you a list of several lawyers in your area to finish the will. So once that will is done, you still have Legal Shield on your side. And as it says here, the impact of COVID-19 is growing. So if after the will is done, now you have a full service legal firm in your pocket, available 24 hours a day in case of emergency. But what if you're a business owner and you have an employee problem because of COVID? What if you're an employee and having a problem with your boss because of COVID? If you're a landlord and you're having a tenant problem, or if you're a tenant and having a landlord problem, all of these things are legal issues that we need to take care of. And being proactive and preventive saves a lot of legal fees later on. Like I said, this is our law firm in New York, Feldman, Kramer, and Monaco. I remember asking a lawyer, what does a will cost if I just walk into your office. And they told me a few years ago, it was about $1,200 to start. So Legal Shield as a once a month fee of $24.95 for a family, that would cover about 4 years of our plan. Just getting a will done for one person outside of our network is equivalent to 4 years protection for the entire family with our service. One of the great things that we do, and again, as if $24.95 is a low enough number to make really, really good use of our time and money, we also have hundreds of companies that we work with, and it is a member perks. So if you look at just one thing like Verizon, the Verizon that I've used using member perks gave me a discount of 8% as if I were an Interactive LLC employee. So that 8% off of my phone bill comes out to $32.54 a month for me. So anyone that did third grade math can figure out that if you're getting $32 and spending $25, that's a pretty good deal. This is my information. I just kept this very, very short so we can have everybody's attention and just basically give people an idea of what a will is, what a living will and healthcare and financial power of attorney is, why we should have it, and how easy it is to get it done with a service like this, as opposed to if you are going to a lawyer off the street. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing. And if Phil is anywhere in the room, I will invite you back for any questions, comments, or observations. Like I said, I'm not used to being on this side of the
I know, right? You look kind of nervous over there. I got to tell you, you look like you're.
Well, I'm standing here all by myself in this big courtyard. So,
yeah, this is just. You just pointed out all the different necessities of having a will in place, and it's like we don't think about dying because we don't expect to do it.
Yeah, we don't think about taxes, but we have to pay it every day.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. The consequences of not thinking about taxes is that you end up owing.
Right.
And eventually you pay the costs for not thinking about your taxes. Is the same thing at death. Yeah, so, it's like Christmas. It's gonna come. It's gonna get here. Even though we seem surprised every single year that Christmas is here, it shows up and we go, oh, Christmas is here. Oh my goodness, I gotta go shopping. I've got to buy gifts for so-and-so. So we have to be purposeful in leaving a legacy.
And again, I've talked to insurance agents that have had to hand over $1 million checks to ex-wives because they never updated their will. You think about it, you buy a house, like Amanda was on earlier talking about buying a house, that's a major purchase. So you want to put that in the will to make sure it goes to the right people when you pass. And then the great thing about our Legal Shield service with the wills, you're able to update it every year without a cost. So as your needs change, you have children, you have grandchildren, your assets grow. And if you get a divorce, you got to make sure that the ex-wife doesn't get everything because that's the will you made up when you got married. Now it's 40 years later and you have a whole new family and grandchildren, and legally they cannot touch that money.
Right.
It's in the will. So it's your voice after you pass away, but it's also your voice if you're incapacitated. As I said, if you're in the hospital and you can't speak, you're intubated, your bills have to be paid. Your medical directives need to be known. The other thing which I found out recently is if you have children over 18, and they're away at school, if something happens, the school isn't legally bound to let you know what's going on because they're adults. So you want
Wow.
that healthcare directive and you want that financial directive to extend to the kids if they're away from home. They need, it's a document that needs to be done, and few people know how dangerous it is not to have it, and costly.
Now, I mean, what do you think that most people are afraid of when it comes to a will?
I don't think they're afraid. I think they're confused that because, before I became a member of Legal Shield and that's the first thing I did was get the will done. I didn't know who to go to. Now, how do I start? Where do I go?
Oh, wow.
So they say a confused mind does nothing. But download the app, info@oscarcapel.com is my email. oscarcapel.com is my website. You can go to my website, go to the bottom, download the app. There are 2 buttons on there that are live that you can use, but just play with the app so you can see how easy it is. Not just to have that law firm in your back pocket 24 hours a day in case anything happens that you need. And, I do identity theft and the legal service. 70% of identity theft
That's why I
problems
have it up here. See,
there you go. 70% of identity theft problems end up in a legal situation because they're not stealing your money. They're becoming you and creating legal problems, crimes, and everything else, and it comes back to you. So having that law firm in your pocket is nowadays it's super important.
Yeah, definitely that. But let's I want to stick to the legal end of Legal Shield for a second, because you also can ask for legal advice when you have your Legal Shield app, right?
Yeah, that is the great thing about it is, what does legal advice cost if you don't have this service? At $400 an hour or $300 an hour, that is that's a couple of meals.
And that's for a good attorney,
That's for a halfway decent. There's an attorney in Manhattan that is now past the $1,000 an hour rate, and they charge every 10th of a minute, every 10th of an hour. So every 6 minutes you're being charged whatever part of that is. It's like being on a really bad taxi ride that you can't get out of.
Wow.
So the ability to really pick up the phone, ask a legal question. What are my rights? I mean, do you have rights if you can't exercise them? If you don't have access, and everybody, well, I looked on the internet. As far as I know, Google didn't pass the bar. So you can ask Google all you want, but that's not specific information for your specific question. In the state you live in the situation you're living, you need a real law firm to really dig down and give you the answers.
Right.
I mean, I wanted to sue a hospital who's taking care of a family member of mine that got really hurt there, and they said you could sue them, but if they're on Medicare or Medicaid, you're not going to see a dime because they will get the money. So that's not the answer I wanted to hear, because I wanted to sue them.
Right.
I have a law firm say, this is what the law says, and do it without running me through a billing cycle to look for the information to tell me, because my law firm says, how can I help you, not how can I bill you?
Wow.
And that's the biggest. And again, that it's, I feel like Steve Jobs, when he walked out on stage with the first cell phone, the first iPhone in his pocket. It's something nobody knew existed, but everybody needed. All of a sudden, everybody needs 2 of them. Oh, this is a service that few people know exists because they don't advertise. So you're finding out, organically how this works. And we are signing up tens of thousands of people. And now during COVID, it's incredible the number of people that are signing up saying, I need my rights protected. I have legal questions. I want my will done, and I don't want to pay $1,200, $2,000 to get it done. So
Yeah.
we're in the right place at the right time with the right service to help as many people as possible.
So yeah, they can definitely go to oscarcapel.com and find out a lot of this information. You know, some of us are out there and we are unprotected when it comes to our legal services, legal rights. And in fact, I mean, even on taxes, I went on the IRS website last night and I was just doing recon. I'm doing recon information on taxes and the different forms of tax and there is so much information out there, so much legalese language where the common person, if you didn't go to law school or you didn't study this, you're not going to understand even in common terms what some of this stuff means. And so you need somebody that has a legal mind that speaks legalese and says, yeah, okay, here is what this is really saying in common everyday language. And you can,
Exactly.
it actually helps us to evaluate how we should use our time.
Well, one of the things people say, well, I don't use lawyers. Why would I need it? And there's a simple question. Did you buy a car? Did you buy a cell phone? Did you click I accept on that 52-page thing that you're running? Agreement. Now, we use lawyers all the time. We just don't use our lawyers.
Right.
Because we're not trained that, you know, nothing gets signed until your law firm reads it over and gives you the okay. Like something as simple as buying a car. People don't know that dealer prep that they can charge you $200 for is simply washing the car and bringing it up to the front of the dealership. You run your car agreement through the law firm, the first thing they're going to say is, hey, it says dealer prep, tell them to take it off. And we had a client do that. He said, they agreed to take it off without arguing with me. Why is that? And the lawyer said, they just wash it and bring it around. You would have been financing $200 for 36 months.
Wow.
That is the advantage of having
with interest, of course.
With interest, of course.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, I keep saying that the reason we have politicians and they're not all in jail is because they have lawyers. Good ones. Several, you know. Otherwise, they'd all be in jail. We'd be running the country ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but I love this segment because it gives people an opportunity to think about what they need to do. So before we go, I'm just going to give Oscar one more chance to tell people how to reach him. And I know everybody knows about it, the website, oscarcapel.com. But is there any other way that they could reach you just to kind of glean the information?
Sure. My phone is available 24 hours a day, 646-578-7097. That's my cell. And if you're calling past 10 o'clock, it will be on silent, and then I'll pick it up in the morning.
I kind of figured that much. Thank you guys, everyone, for watching today. And we are going to be back again tomorrow with Mona Ostrowski via Monroe. And she's going to be talking to us about the most important relationship in your life. And then at 12, we'll have Focus on You with Phil and Oscar. Of course, that's always fun. And so that's going to be our 12 o'clock program. And then at 1 o'clock, we are not going to be on tomorrow at 1. We're going to have to reschedule Lori Stay, who is our wealth building expert. And you don't want to miss her program. We're going to be doing her program again next week. So we're going to stay prepped for that. and really expecting that. On, of course, Thursday, we're going to be on with Ricky, who is Richard Cuzio. And he's going to be talking to us about his business and why he loves to do what he does. Very exciting to hear about that as well. So we're going to stay tuned for that on Thursday. We always try to come to you each month with these programs, just so that you can have information that's going to empower your life. So please support us. Go to Phoenix National Network on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. You'll catch our programs there as well. If you have missed anything, you can see it there as well. So please support our company as we support each other, because when
you win,
we win. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, guys, and take care. Bye-bye.